Welcome back to Revis Talk Sports. I went 11 for 16 for week one pick'em picks, but in this video, I have my good friend Rob Ralph, co-host at Sounds Gouda. We'll be making week two spread pick predictions for this upcoming slate. So without further ado, how you doing today, Rob?
Doing good, doing real well, man. Packers got to win. We're on to week two. The season's finally kicked off. Let's hit some bets this week.
Let's
Let's
do it.
let's,
Let's
let's
do
give the
it.
fans what they
And
want.
exactly. And talking about a good win for the Green Bay Packers, they are now on a short week versus the Washington Commanders. The Commanders had a nice win over the New York Giants, 21-6. The Packers, like I said, great victory over the Lions. Love looked great, and even the defense looked phenomenal, even with the limited snaps that Parsons had. And meanwhile, the Commanders pretty much padded the stat sheet up against the poverty type New York Giants. What is your angle on this game?
Well, it's going to be how well we can contain Jaden Daniels, right? If he kills you, if he gets outside of the pocket, he can make the Packers team hurt with his legs. Um,
Right.
they do have some weapons. They got Brown, they got Samuel came over, from the 49ers, and they do have Scary Terry still, of course. We'll see if Austin Eckler, I think he popped up on the injury report, but you still got Wild Bill, who I know in our fantasy league, maybe not in our fantasy league, but one of my fantasy leagues, I got Wild Bill on my roster. Probably going to be riding the bench, or at least this week for me. But yeah, they got Laramie Tunsil there on the offensive line, the left tackle. He's pretty good. The rest of the offensive line, I think they got Bidish, the center from Wisconsin. There's some weaknesses there on the interior of that offensive line, just like there was with the Detroit Lions with Christian Mahogany, Tate Ratledge, and Glasnow at center. So I think that if the Packers can basically take the game script of what they did on defense and
Right.
rush four and cover seven and get home to the quarterback and time out the specific times that you want to blitz Jaden Daniels. I believe on only 4 or 44 dropbacks they blitzed Jared Goff.
Wow.
They haven't been doing that much the last couple of years, and last year specifically, right? They didn't have a really good pass rush, so they needed to send more blitzers or people at the quarterback to be able and try and get them down. And that's where the Detroit Lions, at least with Ben Johnson, were able to kill us with some timely screenplays and whatnot too. Amon-Ra St. Brown in the slot, but if you can get home with four, if you can cover with seven, if you can contain Jaden Daniels and his legs, if you can get a quarterback spy on him with a Edrin Cooper or Quay Walker, I'm sure that they're going to be doing at times just to limit that. I have a ton of confidence in Jeff Hafley and this defense to be able to play that cover two, that Tampa cover two, hold the shell, play some zone vision defense on Jaden Daniels, and basically dink and dunk of what like the Detroit Lions are doing. Check down, check down, check down, run the football, stop it. Defensive line is going to need to have that same sort of pressure. Really on both sides of the ball. They want on the defensive line and they want on the offensive line, giving Jordan Love a ton of time to be aggressive, to make his play specifically in the first half for that. So insert what you did that worked really well for the Lions, contain Jaden Daniels and his legs. I think we have a really good shot.
Yeah, I think there's a really good chance. I mean, especially, the Commanders, I know they did go against a really bad Giants offensive line, but as of right now, they're number one in run stop win rate and run block win rate. So a good thing that the Packers would need to do is pretty much win in the trenches. As of right now on the offensive line, I know right now Aaron Banks is a little banged up, Zach Tom's a little banged up. So we definitely know that Dan Quinn, the defensive guru, is going to try to scheme things up to kind of attack those weaknesses on the offensive line. But I think the Packers have a really quality offensive line, and they kind of have to punch them in their mouths first to let them know like they aren't the Giants, it's the Green Bay Packers, and they made a big move for Micah Parsons, and you really have to contain Jaden Daniels. He isn't Jared Goff, who's going to try to run a little slow. Jaden Daniels, you try to collapse the pocket, that's like a 20-yard gain, and like you said about the cover too. I think that's like one of Jaden Daniels' worst coverages, I believe, that he's against. I think cover two is one of the coverages that he's not good against. And this past week, the Commanders played about 31% of their defensive coverages in man coverage. So pretty much you really need to protect Jordan Love, give him some time, and let the receivers get in and out of their breaks and get open. I mean, they have a really good secondary, Lattimore, Trey Amos, who I really love during the draft process, and they also have Sanders still. So they have a really quality cornerback room. So the the wide receivers will need to kind of get in and out of the breaks and help Jordan Love out in this game, not having drops. with that being said, with the spread, I do think that the Packers do win this game. I have 31 to 33. Packers win. I think the Commanders really, really keep it close and cover with that 3.5.
Yeah, I would have the Packers 27, the Commanders 24. So really, on a spread betting perspective, it's 3.5 currently, at least where I'm looking at FanDuel. Might want to buy a point down to get it to 2.5 to cover for a field goal. So.
I agree. Yep. Perfect. So the next game that we have now to the Sunday slate, we have the Dallas Cowboys versus the New York Giants. The Giants are pretty much the Giants. Doesn't feel like anything's going to change in that organization unless the head coach, their general manager leaves. And for the Dallas Cowboys, they haven't lost to the New York Giants since the 2020 season. Since pretty much Dak Prescott has been a starter for this Cowboys team, he doesn't really lose to the New York Giants. What are your thoughts on this game? I mean, I know that people were thinking that the Cowboys defense was pretty much going to look bad without Michael Parsons, but they did acquire Kenny Clark. He did really help out their run defense. You saw the big difference in yards per carry when Kenny Clark was on the field and off the field. So I think Kenny Clark is really helping that defense out a little bit. Schottenheimer is calling a good game for this offense for the Cowboys. So what were your thoughts on this game for the Giants and the Cowboys?
Yeah, I mean, the Giants, they had a rough game there against the Commanders. Commanders are a good football team. They're back at home. Cowboys quietly had a pretty solid game against the Eagles. Their offensive line was able to hold them up pretty well. I'm 5.5 is a lot of points, but I really love the Cowboys in this situation, and I would take the Cowboys minus 5.5. That is a little bit rich for me, but even if I'm buying a point or two or three, that's going to lower my odds down quite a bit. I'd probably take the Cowboys 5.5, and I think Dak is going to connect with CeeDee. He's going to get Pickens involved. Jadon Blue, Javonte Williams. I think that they're going to come out cooking at home.
Yep, I agree. I actually have a 28-17 type of score. I am taking the Dallas Cowboys minus 5.5. I do think they win this game outright. I do think they cover. The Cowboys just pretty much own the Giants for the past few years. And Russell Wilson at quarterback, I did think that the Giants offense will kind of kickstart a little bit. He just did not do much for this offense. I think before you know it, I think we'll see Jackson Dart on that field as a starter. I think probably by week 5, I think we see Dart.
Solid take, yeah. I mean, he's going to be inserted sooner rather than later. So.
Yeah, tough schedule. I mean, the Giants have the Cowboys, the Chargers, and then the Chiefs. Think that's a little too early to kind of throw Dart out there. So I'll kind of let the hard part early, let Wilson take care of it, and then put Dart when it kind of gets a little better.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So the next one that we have the Buffalo Bills versus the New York Jets. The Bills had a cinematic come-from-behind victory over the Baltimore Ravens, and for the New York Jets, we actually had former quarterbacks play against each other. It was Justin Fields versus Aaron Rodgers, and pretty much a shootout. This is going to be, believe it or not, I actually think it will be a little bit of a tough game. I just feel like both of these teams really play each other really tough at MetLife Stadium. Surprisingly, Jaden Daniels did really get this Jets offense humming, or unless the Steelers defense just got bad, but the offense looked like it was clicking with Justin Fields. So I think with the run game that the Jets can have, I mean, we saw how bad this run defense was for the Buffalo Bills against the Baltimore Ravens. I know the Ravens have a really, really good run offense, but maybe we can kind of do some options with Justin Fields, Braylon Allen, Breece Hall, kind of run down the Buffalo Bills' throat, and maybe that's kind of like their weakness on that defense. But I really like the Jets the Jets to cover in this game, but Bills to win. I think it'll be a very close game because they really played close at MetLife Stadium. I'm sorry, they're at MetLife Stadium or Buffalo.
I believe at MetLife. Yep.
At MetLife. Yep. So they play very close at MetLife. So I actually have a score of 23-17. Jets cover with the 7, but I have the Bills winning outright.
You're still in the spotlight. I love it. The Jets showed me quite a bit there in week 1 with Aaron Glenn there, the new head coach. Justin Fields, I mean, I don't know. Got to remind me again who their offensive coordinator was because he was absolutely cooking. I love the competitiveness that they showed up with. I think they have a ton of talent. I think if Justin Fields can play up to that same level he did in week 1, I think the Bills are going to win, but I do think that the Jets are going to cover. I would run all day with the Jets 7 on this.
Let's see that triple option with Fields, Braylon Allen, Brees Hall.
Let's go.
Perfect. So nice. We have the Cleveland Browns versus the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens lost in a heartbreaking fashion to the Buffalo Bills in the fourth quarter, and the Browns were actually close but no cigar versus the Cincinnati Bengals. What is your take on these two teams in this battle?
I mean, Ravens are still a juggernaut, right? They went up against one of the best, if not the best team, in football, and Josh Allen and co. with the Bills. The Browns, they like quietly hang around. Like
Hmm.
they have a pretty solid defense. Um, Miles Garrett obviously over there. Nothing special on the offensive side with Flacco and Judy,
Hmm.
Jerome Ford there and running back. Pretty decent offensive line. I got plus 11 and a half, which I believe you can correct me if I'm wrong, John, but I believe that's the biggest spread so far of week two so far from what I'm seeing. So
Hmm.
it's really hard for me to bet on the Ravens minus 11 and a half. So I do think that the Ravens are going to win. Heck, they could even win by 10. But
Hmm.
I would take the Browns plus 11 and a half to at least cover the spread.
Yeah, definitely don't blame you. I think this morning when I checked, I think it touched 12 and a half and
Even
peaked
better.
down just a little bit, down a full point. And I definitely don't blame you. Divisional games, I feel like anything over double digits in a divisional game, you have to take it. I'll be very honest. I'm a little on the other side. I do have the Baltimore Ravens winning this game outright. Definitely agree with that. They're definitely a juggernaut. I do not think the Browns will definitely keep it close. I just feel like the Baltimore Ravens are just probably just pissed off from that fourth quarter loss to the
Yep.
Buffalo Bills, where they're kind of just go to Balt. They could just go back home against the Baltimore, like this Cleveland Browns, and just embarrass them. That's definitely possible, but I'm gonna
Yep.
probably go with that hypothetical. So I'm definitely gonna go on the Ravens win. I'm gonna go with the Ravens minus 11 and a half. A little too rich. I'm probably might stay away from that. That's a really gritty AFC North divisional game, but perfect. So next game we have is the San Francisco 49ers versus the New Orleans Saints. The 49ers will be heading into week two without Kittle and potentially Purdy. Meanwhile, the Saints almost got a shocking upset versus the Arizona Cardinals. So this is a game where we might even see Mac Jones at quarterback. Um, he is not a quarterback that I really trust in this game, but the Saints are actually one of the worst teams in the NFL to potentially top one pick. But despite, even if the 49ers are with their B squad, I would at least hope for them to at least beat the Saints team. Shanahan and Rob Sala, that duo should at least beat this team by a minimum of a touchdown. I'm going to go 24-16. I have 49ers winning and covering.
Yeah, spot on. I mean, the Saints put up quite the dogfight against the Cardinals. Made
Hmm.
that was a pretty close game up there to the end, but the 49ers are too good. They showed it against the Seahawks. Minus 4.5. I'm easily with you. I think that they're going to cover by a touchdown, if not more.
Hmm.
I'd run to this as a outright bet of the 49ers.
I agree.
To beat the Saints minus 4.5.
I agree. I'll definitely even either spread or money line take the
Yep.
49ers. That would think over the Saints. Next, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Right now, the spread is at 3.5. The Bengals can actually go 2-0 for the first time in Burrow's career, based on my research, unless I missed something. But they could potentially go 2-0 for the first time in Burrow's career. And can Liam Cohen go 2-0 with the Jacksonville Jaguars? What are you thinking on this one, Rob?
Yeah, so from what I'm seeing, the Jags minus 3.5 so far. Or excuse me, the Bengals minus 3.5, not the Jaguars. At Cincinnati. I mean, Joe Burrow, he got the week one monkey off his back, was able to actually get a W.
Hmm.
Usually he's a slow starter over there. It's just too potent of an offense. They still get Trey Hendrickson back on defense. There's still some susceptibility over there on their defense. But I really love to buy this down a point to be the Bengals minus 2.5. So, and I think that they do win 27-24. That type of game, they do it by a field goal, but I'd buy the point down. So,
I agree. I definitely agree. I actually think this game might be a little close. I mean, I really don't trust both of these pass defenses. The Jaguars' pass defense could be a bit suspect, and Joe Burrow is going to light them up. And the same thing for the Bengals. I mean, they pretty much, yes, they have Trey Henderson, but that pass defense can't really cover a cough. And that's like the perfect game for Trevor Lawrence to just throw a moon ball in the sky and just hope that Brian Thomas Jr. is down there. Like, this is the perfect game for that. So
Yep.
I do think this could be a shootout. I actually have the Bengals winning, so I might just take the Bengals outright money line. But I actually have the Bengals winning 31, and actually have the Jaguars getting 30. The Jaguars do cover that 3.5. But this would be a very close game. I just feel like both of these pass defense, it's not good. But if there's one arm that I trust in this game, it's definitely Burrow's on this defense.
Yep, 100% agree.
Next, we have the LA Rams versus the Tennessee Titans. Where things stand right now, the spread is at 5.5. The Rams got a nice victory over the Texans at home, and the Tennessee Titans kept it close against the Denver Broncos. I got to admit, I did not expect the Tennessee Titans to really keep it close against the Denver Broncos. They actually made Bo Nix look like a rookie.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, the Tennessee Titans defense did show out. They did keep it close against Denver Broncos. I know the Denver Broncos have that no-fly zone defense, but on the Tennessee Titans side, it just kind of looked like a luggage drop-off with all the drops that the wide receivers had. I mean, I think Karen Moore was hitting them in like proper spots. I just feel like it just kept smacking their hands and kept falling. But I feel like had the Tennessee Titans moved the ball down a little bit, I think we're looking at an upset of the Titans defeating the Denver Broncos in Week 1. So I do think that the receiving room did let Cam Ward down. But as far as this game, I just think that the Rams win outright. I just feel like the Rams' just defense is really nice, and I think they can get after the Titans' offense. And, I still trust Stafford with, Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua than I do with Cam Ward and Calvin Ridley and Alec Ayamanor. So I'm going to do the Rams winning 23-16. Rams win. Rams cover the 5.5.
Yeah, I'm spot on there with you. I thought the Rams showed up and played pretty good. Tennessee put up a good fight too. He brought up a lot of really good points. But if I were in a betting perspective, I would take the Rams. Even by a touchdown.
Yeah.
And I'm easily taking them at 5.5 to continue
Easy.
the threats of Cam Ward starting in his rookie season. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now we have the Chicago Bears versus the Detroit Lions. The Bears collapsed in the fourth quarter against the Minnesota Vikings and J.J. McCarthy, and the Lions got a taste of their own medicine at Lambeau Field. The Bears collapsing in the fourth quarter. Are we talking about back-to-back years? We had the Hail Mary against the Commanders, and now you just got lost. You got beaten in the fourth quarter by a quarterback that hasn't thrown a ball in competitive play in 2 years.
beautiful. Keep going. Keep going.
I mean, come on, like KOC had like a training wheel playbook for the first 3 quarters, giving the Bears a lead, and KOC is like, you know what? I think JJ McCarthy's ready. Let's just open up the playbook and just let him do his thing.
Yeah, I mean, I saw more progress from J.J. McCarthy in one football game than I think I have from Caleb Williams.
100%.
Entered the league.
100%.
There was first half lost in a shopping mall kid, J.J. McCarthy, and then there was like, oh, okay, I think I got it. I got Kevin O'Connell. I got I forget who his quarterback coach is over there. I can't think of his name, but anyway, former quarterback. And what Bears are we going to get? Are we going to get the first half Bears with a pretty dominant defense controlling that line of scrimmage, or are you going to get the second half where they're getting about 8, 9,
That's
10
true.
yards, 10 yards a clip? JJ McCarthy is able to do some play action. That's where
That's
he's able
true.
to get Aaron Jones, Justin Jefferson. This one's tough, man. This
It
one's
is
really,
tough.
really tough.
It's
With the
tough.
Lions too, them getting absolutely billy whipped, by the Packers. They're back at home. To me, when it's like back and forth on this, I probably would not bet this game, but if I were to be a betting man, I think that the Bears keep it close, the Lions win, but the Bears cover the 4.5.
I agree.
But
I'm not lying.
I could easily see it the other way too. So
I 100% agree with you. I am not touching this game, but I do agree that the Chicago Bears do keep it close. I mean, if you look at the past few games at Detroit, the Bears have actually kept it close against the Detroit Lions. They're not getting blown out like they are in Detroit. They actually keep it close.
almost
In
won last
Chicago,
year.
yeah, I mean, they keep it close. I'm sorry, they keep it close in Detroit. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Bears covering. I have the Lions winning 28, Bears 23. I actually was able to get it I was able to see it at 5.5. I wouldn't touch this game. I did see it at 5.5, so I do see them covering with that 5.5 with the hook, 28 to 23. But yeah, I do think that Ben Johnson is really out for his revenge against the Detroit Lions. Not that he left in the bad way, but just trying to get that win against his former team that he knows so well. And I think that with that week 1 loss, was it at home at Soldier Field, to
Yep.
be up and then lose to JJ McCarthy and then get booed off your field,
Classic.
to
Classic.
get to get booed off your field. I mean, Ben Johnson has to really be pissed off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
now you're going to your old facility where you used to work at. Like, you have to at least encourage your team to at least keep it close. And I think we're gonna see first half Chicago Bears and push up on the interior line of the Detroit line and make Jared Goff uncomfortable. And I think they do get Jalen Johnson back.
Yeah, yeah, spot on. And Jalen Johnson will definitely help against that really potent offense with those wide receivers over there. So,
Seattle Seahawks versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Seattle Seahawks had a tough loss against the 49ers, and the Pittsburgh Steelers and Rodgers gets his revenge against the New York Jets. What is your angle on this game?
yeah, the Steelers surprised me. They really
Yeah.
did. I mean, I think they surprised a whole bunch of people. Um, what Rodgers are we going to get? Because if we're going to get that type of Rodgers, that type of play, I could easily see this being, a good cover. The minus, what is it, 2.5 for the Steelers. That's the way that I would lean. I love the Steelers. They're back at home. Rodgers coming back week 1. Seahawks got to travel all the way from Seattle all the way down the East Coast too. A lot of travel involved. I love this. I love this game, and I love the Steelers to cover the 2.5.
I agree. I do have the Steelers winning and covering. I actually have the Steelers winning 24 to 20. Steelers win, Steelers covering. I agree, especially with, like, what defense are we getting? Like, growing up in my childhood, like, the Steelers have been a very dominant defense, and he really got cooked by Justin Fields, who throughout his career hasn't really been a franchise quarterback type player. So that really concerns me a bit in the past. I believe that they get run on a bit on the New York Jets, so I definitely want to see what kind of defense they have. And Aaron Rodgers, I mean, is he turning back the clock? I mean, 4 touchdowns in week 1 against his old team. I mean, he's coming back with vengeance. He does have the Packers on his schedule. I mean, it's like he's going down a checklist of teams to cross off before he retires. So, I do like the Steelers in this game, and I do think that Aaron Rodgers and Arthur Smith click with one another in terms of play calling ability. Don't think that I trust Darnold, so I'm going to go with Rodgers here.
Let's go.
Perfect. New England Patriots versus the Miami Dolphins. The Patriots lose to the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Miami Dolphins got cooked, barbecue chicken, whatever you want to say, against Daniel Jones. So the Miami Dolphins play very well at home, and Tua's pretty much undefeated against the New England Patriots. But this Miami defense, the secondary specifically, I really can't trust it. I'm gonna go with probably my upset alert of the week. I'm gonna go with the Patriots win and cover over the Miami Dolphins. I think they finally get a win in Tua's career against him. I'm gonna go 26 to 24. I just really don't see this Dolphins secondary stopping Stephon Diggs, Douglas, Bouye, Hunter Henry, Stevenson, Henderson. Like, I just don't see this Dolphins stopping this Patriots offense. It's not potent, but I think Mike Vrabel will at least get them a bit disciplined to at least run on this Dolphins secondary. And I think this loss kind of pushes the Dolphins to the edge to start to kind of get things changed in that organization.
That's a good bold one. I love it. I do see this the other way. I do have the Dolphins at home minus 1.5. They absolutely got Billy whooped by the Colts. I thought for sure Miami was going to come in there and handle the Colts. You're spot on about their defense. So this is where I'm a little bit suspect, and I would not touch this game from a betting perspective, for sure, just because you just don't know. But the Dolphins 1.5. They're back at home. They play really well at home. I think that they'll end up covering this and cover the 1.5 Pats. But I love your prediction. I could easily see it that way too.
Absolutely. I definitely want to touch this game, especially right now with the Miami Dolphins at minus 1.5 with odds at plus 100, doubling your money. at -1.5. Vegas might be playing a little trick on you, so please be aware on this game. All right, so Carolina Panthers versus the Arizona Cardinals. Right now, I do see it at 6.5. The Panthers did look very terrible against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Arizona Cardinals did squeak away with the W against the New Orleans Saints. What are you thinking on this game, Rob?
Oh man, this one's tough.
Yeah.
I got Tate McMillan in a fantasy league or two. I definitely thought they would have put up a little bit more of a fight in week one. We got more of that rookie, Bryce Young there when he was playing
Mm-hmm.
against the Jags. That has me a little bit worried. That though too, and I thought the Cardinals were easily going to handle the Saints
Mm-hmm.
uh, in the Superdome. So, you know what? I have this one as a bounce back, and specifically it's because of the points. I think that the Cardinals still probably win by 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
But I have the Panthers covering plus 6.5 in this game to keep it close.
Nice, nice. Yep, I do have the Cardinals winning outright. I would hope they cover by a touchdown. I can definitely see the Panthers covering that 6.5. If anything, I'll probably just do like a 4-point teaser and get it to -2.5 for the Cardinals, maybe by a field goal over the Panthers.
Mm.
But yeah, it's a tough game. I mean, the Panthers have a very good O-line. I mean, what do we make of Bryce Young? I mean, is he still that number one overall pick? Does a change of scenery need to happen? I just don't know of Bryce Young because I feel like depending on how the season ends, I think this kind of tells the Carolina Panthers is it time for a new quarterback in the first round or not.
Absolutely, man. This is
Yeah,
if they go
yeah,
down 0-2 to start the season. Oof, it's pretty bad.
yeah, yeah. And another thing is hopefully Kyler Murray could be 100%. Hopefully he's not staying up all night drinking monsters, playing Call of Duty, and pooping out green at 4:30 in the morning.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Perfect. All right, so we have the Panthers and Cardinals covered. Next, we have the Denver Broncos versus the Indianapolis Colts. The Broncos sneak a W past the Tennessee Titans, and the Indianapolis Colts show the Miami Dolphins, who was balls at home. I'm going to go with a Broncos win, and I think the Broncos cover the 2.5 from what I see. I'm going to go Broncos 24-14. Yes, I understand the hype of the Indianapolis Colts and Daniel Jones. You need to understand that Daniel Jones went up against probably one of the worst cornerback room or secondary room in the NFL to now top 3 in the league. I
Hmm.
think this is where we start to see probably potential New York Giants Daniel Jones in this game. I don't see the Colts touching 20 in this. I don't even think they touch 20. I mean, I'd be surprised if they do. But I think the Broncos should just cover this game very easily on all phases of this game.
Yeah, I completely agree. This is one of my locks of the week. Broncos are a really good team. They were in a dogfight against Tennessee there for most of that game. But the Colts, like you alluded to, one of the worst defenses, specifically in the secondary for the Dolphins. I love this game, and I would bet a lot of house money if I did, and I lived in a state that could do gambling, so maybe it's a good thing that I don't. Broncos -2.5, man. I think this might be like a 10-point, or more blowout from the Broncos. So
I agree. Yeah, I don't see Daniel Jones having his way on this defense like he did against Miami Dolphins. Eagles versus the Chiefs. Right now the spread is at 1.5. The Eagles defeat at Dallas at home, and the Chiefs lose to the Chargers and Brazil. Your thoughts on this game?
Whew. Chiefs are going to be down worthy, right? They don't have Rice, so I mean, who else? Who else is Travis Kelsey? He's getting older.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, man,
Yeah.
Eagles we're in quite the dogfight too with the Cowboys. Pretty close there for most of that game. This one's really tough.
It's tough,
I,
and it's at
I
Arrowhead.
yeah, man, I would not bet this just because of just so much uncertainty, and the line specifically calls that with it being so close, almost a pick 'em.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going with my gut feeling. I think that the Chiefs, after losing in week one against the Chargers, I think that they come back. I think they take this and they win by a field goal to cover the -1.5. But I don't feel good about that.
Yeah, I was very 50-50 in this game, and I definitely understand going to Eagles. They did beat them in the Super Bowl. I initially had Eagles earlier. The more I think about it, I just kind of very find it hard for the Chiefs to go 0-2 at Arrowhead.
Just
I found it very hold on. Like I know, like what receivers do they have? The Eagles defense is dominant. They're gonna have Jalen Carter. Hopefully he's not spitting on Patrick Mahomes before the game, but I'm sure they'll have him. I'm sure they'll have him for the whole game, so that's gonna definitely cause pressure on the interior line. But I just think some magic is gonna happen in this game in the fourth quarter to the point where Mahomes gets the ball last, kicks a field goal,
yep,
they win 26-23. Cover, Chiefs winning cover.
yep. That's the
They
way I
just
see
find a
it.
way.
Yep, they do. It's at Arrowhead. I mean, I was the same way too. I went back and forth. I'm like, man, I cannot just pick this game, so I'm just gonna go straight off gut. And my gut
Right.
says to trust Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes at home with such a small spread to cover this. So
I agree. I agree. Then we have the Sunday night game, Atlanta Falcons versus the Minnesota Vikings. The Falcons lose to the Buccaneers, and the
yeah,
Vikings had a nice comeback victory against the Chicago Bears. Michael Penix did throw almost for over 300 yards on this Buccaneers defense, so I think that's a great thing for him as a quarterback in year two, just gunslinging against a divisional team. Then the Minnesota Vikings, like know what we talked about before the show. I mean, they did have J.J. McCarthy on training wheels to start the game, and they kind of finally unleashed him. Now does Kevin O'Connell start to open up the playbook and let J.J. McCarthy be J.J. McCarthy? I don't know who he is going to be in this second game, but I don't think that Penix has faced a psychotic defensive coordinator in
mm,
Brian Flores. And between Raheem Morris and Kevin O'Connell from a coaching perspective, especially to end a game, I trust KOC's judgment, then Morris's judgment. I'm gonna go with Minnesota Vikings win. I'm gonna go 27-20. They
it's a
win and
good
cover the
call.
4.5.
Yeah, that's a really, really good call. This one, I admit, is another game that I would want to stay far, far away from just because a lot of the uncertainty that you just brought up. What J.J. McCarthy we're going to see. First half, J.J. McCarthy. Second half, settling in. Or they open up the playbook more. And then the Minnesota defense, Brian Flores started to tee off there in the second half and started to really heat up. And he's a fantastic defensive coordinator. It's only a matter of time before he gets another head coaching job. I thought he did really well when he was the Miami head coach, even though there was a lot of turmoil over there with that organization. Man, this one's really tough. I I ended up taking the Falcons plus 4.5.
Okay.
Just for the points, I could easily see this being the other way, and it all just depends on, like I said, what we're going to get from J.J. McCarthy. It scares me to death to think about Michael Penix going up against this just all-out blitz, heavy man coverage type of defense that Brian Flores likes to operate in and give Penix a lot of trouble. But I'm gonna end up taking the points. The Vikings still win, but the Falcons cover.
Right, I agree. Unless you have like Matthew Stafford, like IQ on Brian Flores' defense, or like a dual threat quarterback like Daniel Daniels type to like really handle the pressure, skip the pocket. I mean, Penix has shown a little bit of rushing ability, just haven't seen it just yet to really trust my judgment on taking this blitz heavy scheme of Brian Flores. I think he makes Penix uncomfortable. And I do think that Drake London's coming to this game with a shoulder sprain and a couple banged up players in this game. So I'm going to go with the home squad, Vikings over the Falcons. Now we're on to the Monday slate. Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Houston Texans. The Buccaneers get a W over a divisional Falcons, and the Texans lose to the LA Rams. Your thoughts on this game, Rob?
Yeah, yeah. Like you were saying, the Bucks had a pretty tough game against the Falcons. They ended up coming out of that Igbuka. We were all calling for him to come out and start unloading on fantasy's perspective, and he did absolutely that with getting two tutties. It
Right.
immediately inserted him in there in that Chris Godwin role. They already have really, really good chemistry, obviously. I love the Bucks here, even away at Houston, plus 2.5. I think
Yeah.
that it's only going to end up getting better for the Bucks. A little bit susceptible on defense, specifically their defensive line. But I'm going to end up. I trust the Bucks more than I do the Texans, and
You're not wrong.
give some points, and I'm going to take the Bucks.
Yeah, I agree with you. I still just don't know what the Texans' offense is.
Yep.
CJ had a phenomenal rookie year, sophomore slump, and now year three, it's not really looking the best. I mean, I'm not saying he's a horrible quarterback, but just brand new old line. Now the wide receiver room. I mean, Kirk got hurt. Now they're relying on rookie, Noel, Jaden Higgins, which phenomenal rookies that we've covered,
Yep.
that we spoke about during draft season. But I still think that they're still rookies. They're trying to find their footing. But I just don't know who the Texans are just yet from an offensive standpoint. And I know they have an elite pass defense. I know Baker could be a bit reckless, throwing the ball everywhere. It can cause interceptions, but I think the Bucks get them. I'm gonna go with the Bucks win 23-19. They cover the 2.5. Last but not least, we have the LA Chargers versus the Las Vegas Raiders. The Chargers defeated the Chiefs in Brazil, and the Raiders defeated the New England Patriots. And I have to say, the Chargers look like a top 10 team. I mean, John Harbaugh, when he went to the LA Chargers, I was a little, uncertain about how he would do. But this
Yeah.
guy just knows how to win everywhere he goes. I mean, from the 49ers to Michigan to now with the Chargers, I mean, he just finds ways to win. He finds ways to be disciplined. And even with Bosa going to the Buffalo Bills, they still found ways to win on the defensive side of the ball. Justin Herbert, so careful with the ball. He had over 350 total yards against the Chiefs. McConkey, then he has a safety valve in Keenan Allen. I mean, this offense is really clicking. And then the Raiders, I mean, Geno Smith threw for almost 400 yards on the New England Patriots, and they have a sneaky offense. I mean, you have Gentile as your running back. You have Myers, Brock Bowers. Then you have Myers, the tight end. Then you have Thornton Jr. I mean, I might be missing Tucker, maybe the slot. But they have a very sneaky offense, and they can kind of go toe-to-toe with the Chargers. But I just think the Chargers are a bit, upper tier than the Raiders are. I'm going to go with the Chargers covering the 3.5. I'm going to go 33-21. Chargers win and Chargers cover.
Yeah, I love it. You're right along the same lines of what I'm thinking. Just a really, really great game from Justin Herbert. Probably one of the best I've seen him in Week 1 against the Chiefs. The Chiefs' defense is no slouch either. Really good there with Chris Jones and McDuffie in the back end. But Raiders definitely showed some signs of life. I love Genty, Geno Smith, Pete Carroll as a head coach, Dante Thornton Jr. But yeah, this is another lock for me. I was seeing it on FanDuel at -3, so if it's 3.5, it doesn't really even matter for me. I think that the Chargers easily handle this. This would be another good lock of the week for me.
I agree. I think the Chargers are it's a better team overall. I mean, maybe from a coaching, I think maybe Harbaugh over Carroll, but I think the Chargers are just the better team here. All right, so now to end the show for our week 2 spread picks, we're just going to end it with each of us providing our 4-leg parlays. So, Rob, if you don't mind, if you kind of throw us a little 4-legger, even include a money line, you can even include a spread, or even a teaser, a mix and match of a 4-leg that you might do on your end.
Yeah. Well, 4-leg, I would definitely take the Packers. You can even buy that down a point to get that to 2.5 if you're feeling uncertain about it. But man, I know I'm biased. We're both Packers fans. So take that into consideration, right? I'm definitely hyping up from Week 1 after getting that off our back. But I love this game. If Halfley can continue to do what he did in Week 1, I definitely think that the Commanders will make it tough on us. But we're at home. It is a short week. Some questions on our offensive line, but I love this game. And then my other one, Broncos at Colts -2.5. I would take that all day and then some for the Broncos to easily cover that. Even by a touchdown or more, I would take that. Panthers at Cardinals. +6.5. It's a lot of points. Yes, the Bryce Young conversation scares me, but. Are we going to see signs of life of what they did, from last year towards the end of that season? Can they get Tate McMillan more involved? Chuba Hubbard is still a really good running back. They got Rico Dowdle in there too. I see this one as just being a toe-to-toe similar to what the Cardinals and the Saints were. So I would easily take the Panthers +6.5. And then we just talked about it, but the Chargers at Raiders. The Chargers they looked so good. And the Raiders definitely showed up and showed out in New England, no doubt. And they definitely have a lot of potential, but I'd easily take the Chargers, as a touchdown favorite too. So that's what I would have as far as my 4-leg. And then my absolute money, like teaser, would be to give, depending if you're going 4 points or 6 points, but I'll just say 6 points. The Panthers to be 12.5 against the Cardinals to easily cover that.
Oh wow.
And then the let's see, what was my other one? The Chargers +3 to cover at the Raiders, so to move that from -3 to the Chargers to be +3 to easily cover that.
Perfect, yeah. And then for my four leg, I have Rams money line. I just think that the Rams are just the overall better team than the Titans, and I do have faith on them to just win that game outright. So I'm gonna go Rams money line. I'm gonna go Steelers money line. I do think that they do catch the Seahawks at home, like you said, a long travel to Pittsburgh. I'm gonna ride the Aaron Rodgers vintage train here, and I think they win at home. So Steelers money line, Broncos spread of -2.5. I think that should just be easy money over the Indianapolis Colts. I just don't see Jones. Like I just don't see it. So I'm gonna go Broncos -2.5, and I'm gonna throw in a teaser in there. I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers +8.5.
That's a good one. I love that one.
Rams money line, Steelers money line, Broncos -2.5, and Bucks +8.5. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please give the video a thumbs up and comment below on your spread picks or any predictions that you have for our Week 2 slate. And Rob, tell the audience where they can catch you at.
Yeah, at Sounds Gouda. We talk all things Packers. If you're into the spread and betting, we don't quite do that yet. So I'll continue to be on here with Revis if he allows me and he wants me, and I don't completely go 0-16 on my pick for you guys. But if you're down for hearing anything Packers specific, head over to Sounds Gouda every Wednesday and Saturday, and it's me and my best friend Jordan Olson. I'm at Sounds Gouda with 3 A's. And Jordan is at Olson Jord on our X handles. So
Great. And I'll definitely throw that in the description. But thank you so much for watching. And I hope you guys have a wonderful week too. Thank you so much and catch you guys next time.
let's go.